walk into sets and really know your role, do it, over it, and get immediate feedback from the audience?
Well, that to me was the exciting part, because the feedback part was unexpected also, because I didn't know that after we had closed the show, not only were the people interacting during the time that we were doing the scene, I was pretty involved in the scene that I wasn't able to not let them intrude on to be a participant, but not to interfere. And then afterwards, we got to watch everybody in the chat room, and people were crying, and I was just like so touched by how, I'm going to cry right now, that's ridiculous. I was so touched by how involved the followers had become with our lives, and they were so happy that I came back and gave him the peace that he needed, and that my daughter and I got to reunite and to go and be at peace together. And it was just like this wonderful culmination of being an actor, but then becoming a participant. Like, you know, you have the audience that's out there, and usually you feel the feedback from them if you're doing a theater performance. But when you do film and TV, the crew can't react. I mean, they have to stay doing their thing. They can't laugh if it's funny, and so it was really a great experience to be able to see how they felt such relief and joy.
Yeah, and so sad moment here, I was crying a lot.
I bet that's the girl that was wearing the wig. The shotgun, right? Almost always she was on there. Almost every time I checked in, she was there. There was actually some people who slept with their laptops still going. But I remember she was there, and she really pulled all of the other guys and people. I mean, there were guys that were crying. It was just so touching. And your question as far as how does it compare to any other job, what it actually taught me, to be honest with you, it was an amazing acting exercise for me, because I didn't have any clue that I was going to have to perform. And I didn't really have, you know, usually we'll break down my script and what's every word and every line. Meanwhile, I didn't have that as an option. I just knew what I wanted, what I needed, what was my job, who was he, who was she, what did I want, and what did they need. And that was all we had to go with, and that was fun. So what I've done now is when I go and perform on set, I take that exact same I don't know what's going to happen mentality and let it feel like an improvisation, because it was so freeing. It was so freeing by not, I mean, I still have to break scripts down, but to go in and go, okay, let's see what's going to happen now, it made it so exciting. So it was a great learn. I mean, I've done improvisation, so granted, that helped a lot. But not improvisation that I knew was going live on TV, like I guess that's how the Carol Burnett show or the Mother's Love show, you know, the shows of the day, the variety shows of the day that were truly live. I think that must be that kind of like, okay, my wings are on, I'm going to jump off the cliff, and if they work, they work, if they don't, I had a fun journey on the way down.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, it's like, you know, when we started Alice's Eyes, we're like, well, we have 170 hours. If we begin, we're going to finish. So, you know, it's, you know, if we crash and burn, it's going to be a spectacular 170-hour just destruction. Luckily, we learned how to fly, and the audience came along, flew with us, and I think, you know, as a writer, that was that moment in the end where the audience began to feel like they were actually crying, and I got teary-eyed. I know, and it was this amazing experience because we had all come together.
It was love. That's what I felt like was, ooh, again. Okay, it just felt like a room full of love. I mean, or a computer full of love, but I could feel it all in the room, and like this here, I mean, everybody was thinking about me and talking about me and caring about me, Alice, me. And so that they had already, they'd seen pictures of me, and so they already had this vision of who is Alice, and oh, poor him that he lost her, and you know, that they wished that he could find happiness. And then when I showed up, I could feel, just like a live audience in a theater, I could feel the energy, even though the cameras, I mean the laptop that you were looking at wasn't even in the room, but you had one there so you could see what was going on, because I could hear the people. I could feel them in the room, like hovering over us, trying to guide us. Come on, listen to her. And I don't know if they were talking or not, but I felt like there was this moment when everybody was like, oh, look, there she is, and then dead silence, but I felt like the room was vibrating. And that's truly how it felt to me. And it wasn't just because of the connection that J. Michael and I had, it was, and the love that I felt for him, it was the love that I was feeling from the spectators.
Yeah. No, I mean, over the course of 170 hours, we all, we all went through war together, the audience and us, so that by the end, we were all relieved. It's like the person who we've been following, Norm, he gets what he wants, and we're happy for that.
Mm-hmm.
He finally has some peace, and that gives, and that gave the audience this cathartic moment where they were able to literally openly weep.
Yes, and forgive
for someone
him.
who did not exactly.
And forgive him, because the reality was that he himself at his hand did not do harm, though he did not do anything to stop it. And I think that's kind of a philosophical, societal issue in a way, is that when you see a crime happening, a lot of people become spectators, and they get their phones out and they want to record it, rather than jumping in there and trying to pull the things apart. So I think that there was a little bit of the battle on the viewer too, is like some of them inside were maybe enjoying the people dying that didn't fulfill the requirements, or secretly wish that they could have been a part of it. And then there are those who were feeling losses for those people. So I think it really let people leave, even though they were crying, it let them leave with a sense of, he's got to pay his dues, he's going to get healthy. My daughter and I, we're going to go off and be in heaven, and we'll be waiting for him when he gets there. And those poor lost souls, in a way, I guess the way you had written it is kind of that they had created and was doomed in their own hell out of greed.
Yeah, well, the way I wrote it is all of the couples who were in there, their relationship represented one of the major reasons for divorce. So we had money problems, we had abusive relationships, we had and every relationship that we had, the cheating, we had brotherly love, we had we had all of these different types of relationships reasons that lead to divorce. Question?
Oh yeah, we actually had a couple of questions.
Oh sure.
But I do think it's interesting because we've never really touched on the fact that it was about divorce. Surprise! They wanted to know how it felt being a ghost.
That's actually a really good question, because I did have to take a different approach. And I remember before we went into the room to do the improvisation, I thought, okay, even though I wanted to burst into tears, as a ghost, I've already resolved certain emotional situations. So there was a moment when I almost lost it, and then I reminded myself, you're a ghost, you're here to calm him. If you lose it, then he's going to lose it. He's going to see you're still miserable. You're telling him you're happy and you're miserable. So it was very important to me to keep that ethereal peace. I felt like I surrounded myself with peace. And when I looked at the footage, it felt like there was light all around me. And I don't know if it was the lighting, I don't know if it was the color I was wearing. No. Before the light opened up and put me in the middle of the scene, whatever the color I was wearing, my hair color, I don't know, it was making me sort of have this like glowing sensation. And I remember keeping my hands were important to me to keep them in that prayer peaceful position. Besides the fact that I couldn't touch him and he couldn't touch me, and that was a whole complication, because when I comforted him or I needed his attention, I couldn't grab him or stroke him or hug him. I had to, with my love, bring his attention, or with my love, make him understand. And it made me love him more and more and more and more as the scene went on. In the moment, as I saw him begin to change and open up. So it was a challenge. It was a challenge, but it was wonderful.
We have two really good questions. This one, how is it watching everything happen? Because you sit through it on the other side, and even though you know what's happening, how is it experiencing it with the audience?
It is absolutely amazing. Because I go on this journey with you. It's like I have the map, so I kind of know where the twists and turns are coming. So instead of looking at the road, I can look at your face, and by seeing your face, I know I'm going in the right direction. And that is I see how you're reacting, and that is where we're going, because we want either more of that or less of that. But for me personally, this has been one of the most creatively fulfilling projects I've ever done, because not only are we sitting here creating all together, but we're presenting it to the audience, and then the audience immediately gives us feedback, and that feeds directly into the current scene and the next scene and the storyline, so that we don't know where the day is going to end when we begin. And we're constantly, and it's a joy, because by the time we get to the end, we're like, obviously, these steps led us here, but when we begin, we don't know where we're going to end. And for me, it was so much fun at the end of Alice's Eyes to see everyone's reaction, to know that I achieved what I wanted, which was to make you feel something, and you did, and I felt so much from it, and I can only thank you for watching and for being awesome and for watching the next one.
Well, and the audience also, it was you guys who made the ending include me for that last hour, because these guys felt that they owed it to you to be able to see closure for him, and to able to see the love that we had and to actually know who this person was that he did all of this for. Because I think once you saw me and you saw the relationship that he and I had and the genuine love and support, you understood why you went to these extremes. And I think that was important, but that the audience needs to really know that they did rewrite the ending to some capacity. Yes, I showed up, but they were able to see the moments beyond that, not just me showing up and to be like, oh, great, she's there, now what? So
yeah,
they were co-writers.
We have the other great question, and we have a new one too. The other great question was this your first appearance in a supernatural type show, and would you do another show like it?
Supernatural type show, meaning that I gather that means that I'm not a physical living being in the room. I've never performed anything like that before. I've performed like characters that were maybe a little bit psychotic, where things were happening for that character that weren't genuine, and my own reality was distorted. But as far as the supernatural, like in this case, no. I would love to, because I very much have a feeling that entities do exist, and that when souls are lost or souls are wounded, that loved ones can come and embrace the person who needs help. Not necessarily physically, visually, as we had presented it, wouldn't that be lovely? But who knows? There are people who think that they see that. But I believe that spiritual entities do exist, and they do support the people that they care about. I think that answered the question.
Yeah. Here's another question. I'm not sure if you actually directly had a lot to do with this, because we were so scripted out with the beats of where we were going with your part. But an often asked question is, how do you not kill yourselves laughing on screen when you know that we're saying something silly? Because at the point you were in, they were very focused. The audience was incredibly focused, incredibly attentive, and not very distracting. But then there's always that one person that gets your attention. Did anything make you laugh, or?
I was so involved in what was happening in the scene, and that my mission was to get Norm to get out of his head and to trust his heart and to follow his heart. And because I couldn't touch him, my heart was reaching out to him, that I really didn't. It's kind of like just like being on theater, you block out the audience. If somebody's cell phone goes off or somebody's chit-chatting or they're coughing, you still have to carry on with your scene and stay connected, but you, as an actor, you hear that stuff. And to be honest with you, I remember in the beginning of our scene, I heard the, oh my God, behind you, she's there, turn around, turn around. And then when the scene started and he looked at me and I looked at him, I heard nothing. And so I don't know if it really was that you guys were so engrossed with what was happening, you didn't talk.
You got real quiet for them.
Yeah, because
there was some typing and comments, but yeah, I got very quiet for the typical.
I didn't hear it. My focus, the training as an actor is, when you're working on TV or film, the camera guy is over there moving this and the director's telling you to speed. Oh, and there you go again. We had that too, where boards were going around the room to direct us as to, in some case in the beginning, we were being too affectionate and quiet and it wasn't, verbally translating. And so a sign is going around, like over here, speak up, speak up. And even though we're in the middle of this intense moment, we peripherally see that sign, speak up, and still have to stay in character. So, and do what's needed and directed. So focus as an actor is critical, and I think in this situation it was imperative too, but I didn't hear you guys.
I didn't stop crying at the end. They said it was very powerful.
I cried because you guys cried. I mean, it was
a culmination of
joy tears.
Absolutely.
To me, it was joy tears.
It was a cathartic experience for everybody because
that's true.
For 170 hours we were building this thing and we were talking about it, and then when it finally comes together, because the audience they believed that they were watching a horror story, blood and gore.
Well, some people thought it was real, that they were actually eavesdropping on a very bad person.
Oh yes, and that's a lot of fun.
That I saw in there. That's not real. That's not real. He didn't really kill her. Oh my God! Like he really, at least one that I'm aware of.
But so the. What was I saying? I forget.
I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it. But so, we spend all this time building it, and then to have that moment where, if you're watching a movie, we would just cut, you appear, cut, and roll credits, right? No one's going to sit there and with tears through credits, but here they stayed with us, and they not only were they able to experience, watching it, they were also able to experience together. Right? The audience was able to talk to each other, and they were like, "Oh my God, did you just see that?" And this "Oh my God" moment happens hundreds of thousands of times, instantaneously. Like, "Oh my God," and it's in those moments that because it came out of nowhere for these people, it was a complete surprise that they were going to feel this way.
Well, if it was a surprise, it was a surprise to all of us, right? I mean, you knew where you were taking this story, but did you anticipate that the audience was going to fall in love with Norm the way that they did?
Absolutely not. There's
and that's
no way.
Something for J. Michael.
Absolutely.
I mean, he made Norm so endearing, and like when he would look at me with those eyes in our scene, and the sadness that he really allowed himself to feel. Because I don't think people who aren't actors don't understand that when you're really a good actor, you're not acting. You're completely being that character. You're feeling all those emotions. There is no acting there. All the acting work was done before you showed up. Who's the character? What's the character feel like? Why is he there? And then when you get on the set, everything is raw and everything is real. If you're a good actor, and I think J. Michael is a very good actor, and he made everybody love him, even though what was going on was chaotic and pretty horrific. They still fell in love with him.
We've had some really nice feedback. I just want to read it to you and to tell you how nice it is. That the sense of connection that emerges between the actors and the audience and between us watching with each other was amazing. All of us were watching a work of art.
Oh.
I think so.
No, I know, right?
I think it's
a surprise special guest.
Surprise special guest.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Parked in your driveway.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It is Norm.
How's it going?
They can't really see your face until you sit down, however.
I'm brought my hat.
You got it. I
good
mean,
hats.
does
So-
anybody out there have a hat on?
I like this.
Thank you. It's the Back to the Future hat.
Yeah.
That was perfect timing. We were just talking about you and
Uh-oh.
what a
Yeah,
great
well,
actor you are and how much they
were
love
just
We had someone say, "Don't let the door close."
Yeah. Damn it. Oh well. It's alright, we got enough food and
It
water.
doesn't lock from the inside, though,
This is true.
Yeah.
The answer is cheesecake. I'm not really sure. Oh yeah, cheesecake.
Yes.
That's right. I don't know if you
Oh,
ever
the
did the cheesecake and
Oh, the
but
cheesecake moment.
there was
Yes.
a cheesecake.
Oh, it was so good. There was this whole thing about the last couple that was in there. They had secrets, as every couple, you know. It was like, okay, what is the secret that's
They
going to
were
destroy this relationship? And the secret that he was holding back the whole time was that he was lactose intolerant. And the thing is that, like, on their first date, they had cheesecake, and he was like, "Oh, I love this." So from then on, anytime they had a special like event, she would make him cheesecake, and he'd be like, "Oh God!" So the whole time he's trying not to eat it because, oh no, maybe it's poison, but no, he's gonna feel sick from eating it. So then it builds up, and he's like, "I've got a secret to tell you. Oh my God, I've got a secret." And then it's like, "I'm lactose intolerant." Oh my God. Yeah. And he builds it, and it was a great, again, another cathartic moment for the audience because they're like, "Oh my God, what is it going to be? What's going to destroy this relationship?" And it's boom.
Death by cheesecake. I love
And then of course, so you know, we did this whole thing where we went out, we got a cheesecake, and we made it all nice, and you know, later Norm comes in, he's eating cheesecake with it, and it was you know,
You're not lactose intolerant, clearly.
that clearly, but be able to see these little beats, you know, because that's all, you know, that was just like a little story they had come up with, and then we're like, fuck it, let's go get a cheesecake. So, you know, someone was like,
So again, just
exactly.
What I'm getting from this is that on every single level, it was completely improvisation, slightly scripted, or no, pretty scripted. You actually had a very detailed script, but it was still open and improvisational. I think that this could very well be a wave of the future for some future programming, because to me it was like being at live theater, but you're having a cyber theater. What is it when it's not really there? Besides being
theater.
We have a question for Norm.
ooh.
Did you try to scare people in Tiny Chat on purpose?
I want to say no.
They said you scared them pretty well.
Oh, well, that's great.
No, but I'm happy I did.
No, you know, the whole thing with Norm for me, I think, is Norm was really going through some pretty severe internal stuff. And I don't know, oh, there's somebody else at the door. Hey. I don't know that I went in with it with any kind of, I don't know, modus operandi. You know, I just wanted to be in that space and kind of share that with the audience. So if you got scared, that's awesome. I love
So
that.
that was a byproduct. It wasn't an intent. Like
Yeah.
your intent was to be true to the character, and the byproduct was
Sure.
they got scared.
Of course.
Hi.
Mariah's here, but she's incognito currently.
Yeah, she doesn't have a hat on, so she's not.
You guys are the stars of our current show anyway.
She's here.
Someone else who? Don't worry about it. Do you guys have? I want, because we're kind of nearing the end of our hat chat situation. I want to know. I know, right?
Yeah.
I want to know what you guys are working on. Not you. I know what you're working on. I just waved at one. I want to know what you guys are working on currently, or what you'd like to see, or just sort of any news in your life, personal or otherwise.
Yes.
Well, you gonna let me go first? Okay.
I'm very interested in one of that.
Oh gosh. Currently attached to 5 projects.
What?
From I play an astrobiologist all the way to a serial killer.
Nice.
So
don't know
lots
how to
of
spell that.
range.
I wanted to be an astrobiologist.
I wanted to be
Amazing.
You're taking all of our life
I wanted
goals.
to be all of it. And in the middle, a hippie pothead artist in the middle of all of that. So they're all at various different stages. Lead role or starring role, thank goodness. Because I've just been back to the business just a little over 2.5 years after 20 years gone. That's a whole story in itself. but I'm back, and I'd love to be working with J. Michael in the future. That's him to talk about. But that's really what I've been doing, and I'm going to be a grandmother for the first time. And I'm so excited about that. So just, there's a couple things I can't really say, but I've been really working, and my whole life is 155% just my work. So there's no room for anything else.
Except for grandkids.
That's going to be an interesting thing. You know, once my daughter left for college, that's why I came back to acting. You know, I thought, oh, I'm free. And now all of a sudden the thought of a grandchild is thinking, and she's like, Mom, you know, we're going to have a room for you, and you can come, and we're going to go on our vacation, and you can come and stay with the baby here at the house. And I'm going, wait a minute, maybe you might want to take me on vacation. Well, no, you know, we want to get away by ourselves. And I thought, oh, great, I'm going to have to set some rules real quick. Grandma is not the free babysitter.
Yeah.
Except what I want to be. I know, for
That's
sure.
awesome.
And so what are you doing?
You're too young to be a grandma, by the way.
Well,
That's what.
Thank you. That's what somebody said?
Yes,
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate it. I had her when I was 12.
you did, of course.
From West Virginia by any chance? Okay. Sorry to anybody who's from West Virginia.
Well, I got pregnant when they were 12.
There might be someone. You never know.
Kentucky.
I'm
Been there
kidding,
too.
by the way.
Me, I'm still basking in the glory of this show.
Oh,
what an amazing
basking.
experience it was, and I made some really good friends online and off. And then just to be able to work with you guys again was a real treat for me. You won in April. Coming up next is a feature that I'm working on. It's a Western, which is one of my favorites. And I'm in prep for that right now. We're looking to shoot probably June, July, kind of hopefully mid-June, beginning of July, hopefully. So we'll be out in the desert and 120 degree heat on horses and all that leather. And
So you're gonna be, and it's a period piece. You're gonna be like in corsets and layers and good times.
But they're really great. In a corset, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said in
No.
horses, but in a
Really
corset.
not in a corset. Although I've always wanted to do a role like that.
Hey,
actually.
why not?
Would be
Frankenfurter,
nice to-
sure.
I did play. I once played a guy who was dressing up as a girl in a theater play where I had 13 changes in the entire play, and one of them was on stage.
Damn.
I don't go into it, but it was pretty crazy. Yeah, so the name of the show, the name of the film is called The Reckoning of Scarlet Waters, and please go to the website. It's The Reckoning of ScarletWaters.com, and there's an Indiegogo page up for it if you want to show your support. I know you guys are awesome and have supported these guys
What's that?
tremendously.
What's the website again? So I can see if I can type it in.
The Reckoning of ScarletWaters.com. 1 T.
Now, is Scarlet Waters a place or a person?
It's a woman.
Let's see if that works.
Also, there's a trailer for it, which I fell upon this trailer and connected.
It's a trailer.
It's a crowdfunding kind of
Promo piece.
Promo piece, yeah. Because I know trailer people think, oh, it's the production, you edit it, but no. But the production value is so very high that I discovered this project without even knowing you were associated with it, and connected with the director. And then you had made a comment in the feed, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the Western that J. Michael said he was involved in. So it's very good. You should watch it.
Cool. So we're gonna start having a whole bunch of people arrive for the next show here soon. So I'm gonna hop on really fast and talk about the next show.
Thanks, guys, for checking in.
Yeah.
I was late.
What were you at an audition or something, like a professional actor face? All right.
Something like that.
Traffic in Santa Monica is brutal.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So a big hand for Dia Schwartz.
Thanks.
Very talented
Your hand's
and
bigger than mine.
well adjusting to the situation that we threw at her. And huge hand to J. Michael Briggs, gonna call out, who
Star of Kill Cam and Alice's Eyes, who we will likely use and abuse later in life.
I'm
I thought you meant later today. Hi everybody, great to talk to you.
It's really the abuse that I'm looking for.
Right? I know, seriously. Alright, I'm gonna have chat real fast because here's the deal, y'all. We have a show. it's happening so fast, and we have a meeting for said show right now.
We do.
I really don't know how we're going to do it, so we're just going to figure that out as we go.
Yeah.
But you guys are such a big help in making the entertainment that we're doing here, and in inspiring us to keep doing more and pushing ourselves. So we are pushing ourselves with this one, and you will have 2 separate locations to monitor.
What?
I know. I mean, if you're on the website right now, it's pretty clear that.
Oh my God! Spoiler alert!
Not that big of a spoiler.
Oh my.
But that is new and exciting for us. We are working really hard to craft both storylines to be something interesting for you guys to dig into. And that starts this Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are so excited about it. I know that some of you are so excited about it.
Wait, Saturday in 2 days?
Saturday is weird. Isn't that super weird?
Can we just Saturday?
And it's four Saturdays in a row.
Four.
After
It
tomorrow.
really is going to be a good idea to tune into the first one.
30 hours.
It would be advisable to be ready to have a good time.
Yes.
That's all I will say.
Having a
Wait, what
good
is
time.
the date this Saturday?
What's the date this Saturday?
What is
April
the date?
20th.
What is
Right.
that?
Which is also
January,
notoriously
February, March, April, the 4th.
420. Oh my goodness. Smoke them if you got them.
Then if you don't, go get them. You got 2 days.
Don't
It
do it.
happened.
Alright, cool. Hi guys.
Serendipity.
Hi Poch. Much love and we'll see you soon. Stop record.